Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? It's Danny the Phantom, and today I am back at it again with another makeup tutorial. This time it is a face paint tutorial, which is something that I have been asked for many a year, so I feel like it's about time that I gave y'all a rundown of how I do it. So before we even start, we have to discuss face paint. The face paint I use is a water-activated face paint. My skin type is a very strange combo where I have very oily parts and super dry parts. I can't use cream-based because of how oily my skin gets, so if I use cream-based, it usually turns the cream into mud, and that's not what we go for here. I don't use alcohol-based face paints either because if you already have dry skin, the alcohol will draw out any other moisture that may be in your skin. So for a drier skin type, I'd probably use a cream-based. For a more oily skin type, I would use a more water-based or an alcohol-based face paint. And if you have that combo skin, water-based works absolute wonders as well. There's multiple different brands as well, so you do have to play around with it, see what works best for you, make sure you're not allergic to anything in them, and generally just play around with it. It is always good to practice with multiple different brands. The face paints that I use are generally the Mehron Paradise AQ in several different colors. In order to get a nice consistent look without looking flat, you need multiple colors. So as per the usual, I'm going to start with primers. I'm going to be using two different primers as always, so I'm going to be using the Porefessional by Benefit and the Too Faced Hangover Prescription Replenishing Face Primer. I use hydrating ones whenever I use a water-based face paint so that whenever the face paint does dry, there's still a little bit of moisture in there that keeps it from cracking too much. Whenever you're doing a full face paint character and you need to paint your arms, I usually go for Armsocks. So I usually have to make sure that if I have my chest exposed, that I make sure my chest is also primed and ready for face paint as well. Now from here, we actually go into the face paint. Today, I'm going to be using the Mehron Paradise AQ in Lagoon Blue, Light Blue, and White. For your sponge, I genuinely use the Snazaroo sponges. I've had these ones for years, so they're stained to all get out, but they are clean, I promise. I know that looks a little crusty, but it's clean. You want your sponge to be a little bit more damp than your beauty blender, so if you squeeze it, it should drip a little bit, but it shouldn't be like an outpouring of water because you want your makeup to be damp whenever you first apply it. I'm going to start with the Lagoon Blue. I'm going to get a good amount on my sponge, and I'm going to use dabbing motions and just apply it evenly. I forgot to put my hair back. Oh my god. Jesus. That's a little better. So like your foundation, you want to use a dabbing motion whenever you apply your makeup. And the reason why is because if you smear it, it's not going to apply at all. It's just going to take the makeup away. So that is why you have to do this dabbing motion in order to get it on there nice and evenly. You especially want to get your contour points and make sure that you get them nice and dark so that whenever you go back in later, those will really pop out. This part of my face is not accepting paint apparently. Next up, I go in with light blue. I still have the same amount of product on there with the Lagoon Blue. I just kind of blend it in with the cake makeup so that it all blends evenly whenever I put it on. Also, when you go to re-wet your sponge, you don't need to add that much more water. It really helps just to add like 2 or 3 more drops of water. I'm going into mostly my highlight areas, but I'm still blending in a little bit with my contours because we don't want it to be a deep blue, but it does add a little bit of extra depth with that darker blue. You want to add about 2 layers of the light blue on top of that darker blue. It really helps to stretch your face as the face paint is drying because whenever you allow it to dry with a straight face, the makeup isn't going to flex to all of your more exaggerated expressions. So if you do a character that has like a huge smile or expresses and emotes extreme faces, you want to make sure that you really stretch out your face as it dries. You want to make sure that you really get deep into your laugh lines and into your chin So if you do make a weird face, it's not going to crack and crease the makeup and make it look bad. I don't like that feeling. Don't like that drippy feeling. Going back in and getting my neck. The reason I'm only getting that square of my chest and I'm not worrying about my arms or shoulders or anything is because I wear Armsocks as Jester, so I don't really have to worry as much about those extra parts of my body. I just have to cover what isn't covered by the Armsocks or the dress. Alright, and now I go back in with white and really bring out those pops of color and those highlights with that white. You have to make sure that your face paint is still a little bit damp whenever you go in with the next color, and the reason why is because you want to make sure that you're not removing the under layers that have already dried completely, and by adding more water you're removing those other colors and those other layers of your makeup. Am I the color of my Armsocks yet? So the main goal is to get as close to the color of your Armsocks as possible. I'm probably going to stop here with my face paint simply because I know that I'm as close as I'm going to get to my Armsocks at this layer. But if you need to, you can always lighten your makeup by adding more of the white or darken it using the light blue. Don't go back in with the lagoon blue because that's what you need for your contour points. If you go into the rest of your face with that lagoon blue, that's really going to just darken your face almost towards the beginning of your makeup process. Alright, and now we have to let our makeup dry completely before we go in with our powders, because if we go in with our powders while it's still damp, it will take away the layers of makeup. So now I'm going to go in with my contours. I have the Colourpop Blue Moon palette that has really, really amazing colors for Jester in it. So I'm going to go in with Clued In, mixed a little bit with Dubba Dee, as in I'm blue dubba dee but die. I'm going to be going in with those two colors in order to bring out the purple tones in Jester's skin tone, as well as make those contours really, really pop. Knock off the excess, and go into my contour points. For Jester, I really, really like to round out my jawline instead of having a sharp jawline. I like to have a nice round jawline for her nice, pretty round face. Y'all, my favorite fan art of Jester is whenever she's got a little bit of chubbiness to her. Like her little, I love chubby Jester, it's so cute. Alright, and that already really rounds out my jaw and really makes my face a lot rounder than it usually is. And now I'm going to go in, I'm going to contour my neck and my collarbones. Someday I gotta do a video where I just do my makeup without talking and just like have like show y'all when I start, what time I start and what time I finish, and just show you guys like how fast I can do my makeup, because I zip through my makeup usually. It's only when I'm talking that it really takes me much longer because I have to correct myself a lot more. Alright, and our contours are done. Now it's time to put on our blush. For this, I'm going to be going into the Morphe James Charles palette, and I'm going to be going in with this darker purplish pink right here and this light pink right here. That will really blend it out and make it stand out a little bit more without being too harsh of a purple. And yes, I'm using a contour brush for this, fight me on it. Smile so you can see the apples of your cheeks. Get that nice little rosy blush on there. Alright, that looks a little bit dark for me. I'm just gonna sweep a little bit of it away. Very, very delicately, because I can accidentally take away the makeup underneath as well. Now I'm gonna go back in with my highlight. I'm gonna go in with the Colourpop Blue Moon palette, and I'm gonna use the Lumi right up in this top corner. It has a really nice blue tint to it while still having that nice pop, and I really like it a lot for this highlight. Alright, now that our highlight is nice and poppin', we're gonna go in with our eyeshadows. So I'm gonna go in with, again, the James Charles palette. I'm gonna use this nice purplish blue right here, along with this dark blue right here. Kind of the same feel as I was going with my contour. And I'm gonna start in the outer corner of my eye and cut that crease a little bit. And I'm just gonna put that on my outer corner and blend it into my crease. Now from the Blue Moon palette, I'm gonna go in with Fine China. Blend that into my crease and blend outwards. Now that we have those dark blues going, I'm going to start going in with purple. From the Colourpop It's My Pleasure palette, I'm going to go in with Fan Fiction. And I'm going to start in my outer corner again and blend that in. Going a little bit underneath my eye as well. Those darker blues, what they basically do is they set my eyes how they would look like if I had blue skin as a natural skin tone. Since it's so unnatural, I do basically have to reintroduce those shadows to my eyes as they would be on a blue skin character. And from here, I'm basically adding what would constitute as a purple smoky eye for Jester. Same palette, It's My Pleasure, I'm going in with Sleeper. Getting really into my outer corner and then blending into the crease. Blend upwards a little bit as well, and then go underneath your eye. Alright, and from there I'm going to go back into the James Charles palette and go back in with this nice warm purple and mix it with this other purple that I used in my blush. So these two. And we're going to blend that out, starting from our crease and blend upwards. Under the eye. Now, because that looks super, super dark, we're gonna lighten up our lid using the It's My Pleasure palette, and we're gonna go in with Kitten Fish. And then I'm going to go back into the Blue Moon palette and use Lumi again, like I used with my highlight, and pack that in. I really try to go into my crease line a little bit and fill the entire lid because this makes my eyes look rounder and brighter and more cutesy. Hello. Alright, now I'm going to go back in with my eyeliner. For this kind of eye makeup, I really try to round out the top of this liner in the middle of my eye. Because if I round that out, it makes my eyes look rounder. And then I do a simple wing at a very sharp curve, going underneath my eye a little bit with it. And now onto the other eye. I'm gonna try to look this camera dead on as I do it. Are they cousins or are they sisters? We don't know yet. They certainly ain't twins. Alright, we got kind of related eyes. There we go. Now our lashes are nice and full. but we're still gonna have to go in with regular lashes later. Okay, and from here I'm gonna start doing my brows. I'm gonna go back in with the Blue Moon palette and I'm gonna use the Clued In again. Alright, and because my wig has a little bit of purpleness to it, I am going to go in with Daba D again as well to have that nice purple tint to it. And this time I'm going to go and do bean brows because I really like bean brows on Jester. I think it looks really, really cute. So in some parts of my skin I am noticing a little bit of patchiness. So I'm going to go in with my now slightly less damp sponge. I'm going to go back in with a light blue and I'm going to clear those up a little bit. So as you can see on the center of my forehead, it did actually take it away more than it helped. And that's because my forehead was very dry, especially because I'd been using powders so close to it. On top of that, that's just a very dry part of my face, so sometimes it doesn't always take the makeup how I need it to, even in normal makeup. So because of that, I'm going to let it dry, see what it looks like when it's dry, and then possibly go back in with an eyeshadow to fix that. Put on some hold music while we do that. I just got so much face paint on my teeth. Alright, yeah, that center point's looking really rough, so I'm going to go in with a powder. In the Blue Moon palette, there's a color called Moonlight. That one's actually pretty close to the color I need, but I am going to mix it with Starry Eyed, just to make sure I get as close as possible. Nope, I should have just gone with Moonlight. Well, that's only getting worse. How is that doing better? Okay, so wildly enough, adding the powders and then going in with the face paint again to fix it actually made it work. Okay, I'll take it. I'm not gonna question it, but I'll take it. So I'm gonna go back in and fix my eyebrows. Using that wet makeup to my advantage in order to really make that powder stick. Because I don't really need to make sure that I have that as clean as possible underneath my brows because it actually helps to have nothing on your brows. We're not quite out of there yet. We still have a few more details to go. So I am now going in with a gel liner and lining my waterline. Please don't let me be allergic to this one. I really hope my nose doesn't start dripping. Okay, there we go. And for Jessie, I like having a few freckles, so we're gonna go in with a felt tip liner. I'm using the Tarte Sex Kitten. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen this in my cell shading videos because it is a miracle. All right, let's go into it. You want to be as sporadic as possible, so don't worry too much about it looking symmetrical. Just go as your heart feels. Try to vary the sizes and shapes as much as possible. You want those weirder, like, oblong shapes as well. They help for different reasons, and it's because no freckle looks like a perfect circle. So it helps to have random oblong shapes in there as well. Try to pop them in other places other than your cheeks and nose as well, because if you don't, it tends to look a little less realistic. The more sporadically you place them, the better. So like the chin, the nose, I even have some in my eye, like underneath my eyebrows and stuff, because like that's where my normal freckles usually end up. Oh, I forgot to blush my chin. Hang on. I like blushing my chin. And there you have a nice little freckly Jester. I like a freckly Jester. I think it's cute. I already removed the paint from my lips if you didn't notice that randomly happened. It's because I wanted to drink some of my tea, so. My lips were cleaned. This is the NYX Liquid Suede in Jet Set. I really like this color because it's a lot warmer of a color than some of the cooler tone blue lipsticks that I found. It also has a really nice formula and it dries more of a satiny kind of matte as opposed to a pure matte, which looks a lot better for certain characters. I usually add like a little wing to the outer corner of my lip simply because it helps a bit more with a resting smile. I have really bad RBF, so I tend to have that little wing there so whenever I'm not smiling, I look like I'm at least kind of smiling, as opposed to just dead fish, which I usually look like. Alright, and from here I'm gonna go get into my lashes, my wig, my costume, and all of that kit and caboodle, and I will be back to show you guys the final product. Let's do it! Alright, and there we have it. That is my Jester Lavorre from Critical Role. That is how I get into face paint usually, and that is just the general process. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope that it was educational. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comments below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Other than that, if you like this video, please don't hesitate to hit the like button down below. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to know when I post next. If you want to see more of my cosplay stuff, go check out my Instagram at @thefantomb and my TikTok at @thefantomb. Or if neither of those are your style, go check out my Twitter at @thefantombcause. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a good day, good week, good year. May the traveler be with you and let chaos reign. Otherwise, I will catch you on the flip side. Bye! Ho, ho.